Hey, I wanted to do a live for veterans out there. So we're going to talk about veterans benefits and Social Security, veterans benefits and Social Security disability, veterans benefits and Medicare, and let's see. I think one of our regular Tweety Bird X said it the best. So let's pop her up here. May we bow our heads in remembrance and give thanks to those who gave their last blood and treasure to keep us safe at home. Thank you for that sentiment. Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those veterans out there, anybody that lost a family member or friend in the line of duty, this is for y'all out there. So my name is Ed Weir. I ran the Third Business Social Security office, and I was also a veteran a little bit in the old Marine Corps times, East China Sea, the Okinawa, Japan there. I think when I actually had more hair at the time. But anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and talk about all things veterans. And my website, which let me go ahead and pop up it's mygovexpert.com. So you can click on that, and it's got information on retirement benefits, disability, survivor, family benefits, for instance. So but in terms of veterans benefits, just added a couple of new sections there. The living overseas and the veterans benefits just went live today. So I'm going to use that. We'll go through this and help those veterans out there. And if you've got any question, make sure you type it in chat there. If you're watching this in a recording later, make sure you share and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff so you can come back. Okay. One of the first things is retirement. Let's focus on retirement and veterans benefits. When you file for retirement benefits, one of the things they ask you, I know because I've done this hundreds of thousands of times when I worked at Social Security, it's, did you ever serve in the military? And then you tell them when you served in the military, the dates from this date to that date, and they put it in the system. If you have a DD 214 at that time, it usually helps. But over the last few years, the Social Security Administration has been coordinating with NARA.gov, and the computer system at Social Security talks to that system. So you usually don't have to provide a DD 214 anymore. But if for some reason it doesn't talk to the other computers out there at Social Security, then they'll ask you for a DD 214. And what it is it gives you a little bit of extra bonus. Not very much, but hey, a buck's a buck, right? So basically, from 1940 to 1956, if you served, you get an extra $160 per month added to the earnings. It's like you actually earned an extra $160 back in 1956. From 1957 to 1977, they give you an extra $300 per quarter. So we're talking $100 a month. And again, people, social media land out there, what they often do is, hey, you can get extra $100 a month if you do this, that, and if you click this button, are you eligible? And click this button and watch my video, and then it tells you, well, no, you're not going to get an extra $100 a month today in benefits. What they do is they add $100 of earnings back to 1976 or whatever the case may be. Again, it doesn't usually increase your benefit by very much, but again, a buck. And the same type of thing from 1978 to 2001. So if you served during one of those times, after 2001's, there's no change. Everything was automatic at that time. So if you served one of those times, just make sure you're getting. Usually when you file for benefits, they ask you if you served in the military. Okay, let's switch on to disability. Can you get SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, and VA disability? Absolutely. They are completely different, though. VA disability you must be service connected. You can work and collect benefits. Social Security disability benefits are completely different eligibility requirements. You're essentially not able to work substantially. If you are approved for VA benefits, that does not automatically approve you for Social Security disability insurance. In my office, we had about half of my staff in my office of 100 employees. I think a half of them were veterans, and probably half of those were receiving VA disability benefits, 10%, 20%, 30%. And they were working, so they weren't eligible for SSDI because VA, the Veterans Administration, has 10%, 20%, 30% service-connected disability. Social Security is you're disabled or not, period. And again, different eligibility requirements. But you can, if you're receiving veterans disability benefits and you're unable to work because of that disability benefits, absolutely. Please, 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 if you know anybody out there, please have them file for Social Security disability insurance. They paid for it. If they can't work because of a disability, then they definitely earned it. So make sure you reach out to them and make sure they're getting all the benefits they need and are eligible for. Okay. And one does not offset the other. So there is no offset, because you're getting VA disability, that doesn't reduce the amount of Social Security disability benefits or vice versa. And there's also what's called an expedited processing. So if you're 100% permanent and total disability, also what's called a um, wounded warrior program, then those are expedited. I say the word expedited. There's nothing really expedited nowadays with the Social Security Administration because they're barely treading water because of all the staffing cuts. But hopefully, if you apply for disability, hopefully it goes through quicker rather than later. Anyway, so reach out to your politician and say, hey, we shouldn't treat our veterans like that. If they file for disability, they need the disability. They should be expedited like Congress intended for them to be expedited. Everybody should be expedited. So anyway, shouldn't have to wait 9 months, a year, 2 years to get your Social Security disability benefits approved if you're disabled. All right. What about Medicare? Let's move on to veterans and Medicare. All right. One of the things so let's break it down into two different categories. We got people that, like myself, I only served 8 years in the Marine Corps. It's like 20 years in all the other services. But anyway, only 8 years. So I'm not eligible for Tricare for life. Tricare is basically a retirement medical health insurance from the VA, the government. Okay. I could be eligible for regular old VA benefits. Anybody that served in the military 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, whatever the case may be, if they fulfill the eligibility requirements, then they could be eligible for VA benefits. Don't have to retire. Don't have to be retired. So those people that just use the local VA clinic, let's talk about them first. There's going to be it sounds like there's going to be a lot of cuts to the VA, and a lot of people out there say, well, I don't want to get Medicare because I have the VA and I'm happy with the VA. And one of the reasons they don't want to get Medicare is because Medicare Part B costs $185. And they say, well, if I already have the VA, I'm happy with the VA. It's close by, good customer service relatively. I already have Part A. That's zero premium. If you have Social Security benefits, you have Part A if you're over 65. But they say, I'll refuse Part B. I don't want to pay the $185 because I don't need it. I've got the VA. Okay, fine. A lot of people choose that. But hey, if you need help with Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, Part D plans, make sure you reach out to my partners at Chapter of Medicare. I looked for a place that would help you all out, and Chapter of Medicare knocked it out of the park. They've got excellent customer service. They look at every single plan in your area, and their help is always 100% free. Give them a call and they'll see if they can help you out, and tell them Dr. Ed said hi. What happens when the VA is not as awesome as it is today? Once they start getting cutbacks, once they start letting go tens of thousands of people, which they were talking about recently, what happens then? If you change your mind later and then sign up for Part B, then you're going to be penalized 10% for every 12 months you did not have Part B. And you can't sign up until the general enrollment period, January, February, March. So if something happens in July, you need extra care, whatever the case may be, you're out of luck. You have Part A, but you don't have Part B. So you can't sign up until January, February, or March, and then you're penalized for the rest of your life. So one of the options is to go ahead and just, bite the bullet, pay the $185, get your Part B just to be on the safe side. But one of the other options is Medicare Advantage plans. Everybody knows, regular viewers know, I always recommend checking out Medicare supplement plans first. Those are the ones, Plan N, Plan G. But if you have the VA and you're pretty much happy with it, you just want to, kind of hedge your bets, a Medicare Advantage Honor Plan, or Patriot Plan, they're called, might be a really, really good option, because a lot of those, they pay for part of your Part B premium. So you sign up for the Medicare Advantage plan, and Part B give back. It pays maybe $50 of the $185, $100, or all of it. It depends on your particular area. So you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. You can have your VA, but you also got a fallback, and you're not having to pay the full $185. Most of those honor plans don't include prescription drug plans as part of it, because that's one thing the VA is really, really good at, is prescription drugs, because they're able to negotiate. Yeah, so you definitely usually use the VA pharmacy. Really good, benefits for the VA pharmacy. So if you want to check out that option, you can reach out to our partners there at Chapter, and they can see if there's one of those give back plans in your particular area. If you can't sign up for that now, just tell them, hey, when can I sign up? And they'll tell you, okay, in October, you should be able to switch over to one of the honor plans. And this is eligible. Anybody can get one of these, even though it says honor plan or patriot plan. If you or someone has a hard time paying that $185, then you can sign up for one of those patriot honor plans. You don't have to be a veteran, and you just sign up for the Part B give back part of it. And depending on what's happened in your particular area, you might get quite a bit back in your Part B. I know there were some last year. There's some in some parts of the country that pay the entire $185. So definitely check that out and see if that is right for you. Okay, what about Tricare? Those people that actually retired from the military, and they have Tricare for life, or their spouses have Tricare for life. If you are 65 or older, you do need to be enrolled in Part A and Part B. You cannot deny Part A and Part B if you want to keep Tricare for life. Do you need a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare Supplement plan? No. So you have Medicare Part A and Part B, and everybody that has Part A and Part B needs to have something else in there to cover all the gaps. You have Tricare. That's all you need. So you don't need anybody else. There's some Medicare insurance agents out there that want to sell you something, so they try to sell you up for Medicare Advantage plan and don't really need that. There's usually a lot of bureaucratic paperwork. Some people get a little advantage getting the Medicare Advantage with their Tricare and Part A, Part B, but usually it's more trouble than it's worth. So Tricare is essentially your Medicare supplement. So usually don't need anything else. So check out my website, and it gives all the frequently asked questions on anything else you possibly might need. And if there's anything, like I said, this is a brand new page on my website. And if there's anything, you go to the home there, go down, and if you've got anything that you have suggestions, or say, hey, Ed, you need to talk about this in your veteran page. I don't understand this part. Can you explain this part a little bit easier? And I can, it's a work in progress. It is our website, and it is a work in progress. So if you want to donate, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff, that's awesome too. And then support our sponsors, who also support this channel and this live Q&A.